and welcome to Evil Knits. My name is Evie or Evie, and I'm coming to you from northern Germany, where it's very sunny but also rainy, so we will see what the lighting situation will be. But this is my first podcast episode, so I would like to talk to you about my crafting. I do lots of crafts, but primarily I'm a knitter. So yeah, I hope you enjoy and I'm very excited to get started. I've been wanting to do this for a while now because I've been watching podcasts for a long while, and currently I'm in a time of my life where a lot is happening, but also not a lot is happening, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of, at the time, I'm finishing up my master's studies. So I'm in between studying and working, and therefore I have quite a lot of time to craft and to watch podcasts. So I thought I'd give it a go. I just got my hands on a new to me phone. It's someone else's old phone now, and I also got my hands on a microphone, so yeah, here we are. I do have some notes in front of me, but I don't have my glasses on, so I can't even read them. But yeah, maybe I'll do a short introduction and then just get right into the knitting. So yeah, as I said, my name is Evie. I am from northern Germany. It's where I'm from and it's where I live. And what is there to say about me? I knit a lot. So I knit, I also crochet. I actually started with crochet, but then moved more towards knitting. I'm really bad at sewing, but there is actually a little something sewn in this episode that I would like to show you that I made yesterday. I also spin. I have a spinning wheel and I also use a spindle. And yeah, and then there's lots of other crafts that I do not as much, like needle binding, null binding, theoretically some tablet weaving, though I really haven't done that in ages. And yeah, outside of crafting, I like lots of different things. I like Dungeons and Dragons. I like watching shows and movies. I like video games and I like to read. And yeah, if any of that sounds interesting, oh, we're getting the sun, then stick around and I would love to get to know you. So let's jump into the crafting, actually. Enough about me. Maybe I'll tell you what I'm wearing. I'm wearing a beautiful top. It's time to put away my coffee that I made in last year's March. So I'm filming this at the end of March 2026. This was finished at the beginning of March 2025, and it is the late nights. Wait, what's it called? Something night. I'm pretty sure it's the late nights. It's a pattern by Drops Design, and it's knitted and designed in one strand of Drops brushed alpaca silk, which is a yarn that I really enjoy. So it's a very light garment with some lace details. Maybe I'll get up. So the lace kind of decreases towards the face on the sleeves and the body, and it's very light, it's very fluffy. It's still losing some hairs, definitely. I wear a lot of black clothing, and right now on my black skirt you can definitely see some gray hairs. And I initially planned to dye this black because I have another garment with a very similar shape, also knitted in one strand of the same yarn in black, and I wear that so much. I've worn it a lot over the past few years, and I recently noticed that the underarms on that garment are actually quite felted already. So yeah, another one would be nice, but now I really enjoy this color, so I'll keep it as is for now. And of course, like any traditional podcast, I will show you my finished objects, also known as FOs, my works in progress whips, and then some plans as well. So because this is the first episode, it's a little bit awkward where to start showing you my finished objects. But as I'm filming this at the end of March, I thought I'd just show you what I finished in March this year. And I have those things prepared here and I will just go through them. Maybe not in great detail because it's 6 projects, I believe. And yeah, I'll give you all of the information that I'm thinking of in the moment. And the first FO of March is this scarf that is very nice, but I blocked it incorrectly. So the shape is not ideal, but the scarf itself is still very pretty. This is the Dewdrops scarf, which is a design by Lisa Hannes, also known as Maliha Designs. And it's knitted in a yarn that's a silk mohair, but not your usual lace weight. And I had a skein of a yarn like that. So this is a 1 skein project, 100 grams, kind of. This scarf weighs, and it has this very nice, very repetitive also lace design, eyelet design with a garter, stitch border, and then an I-cord edge. And it's knitted from tip to tip. You increase and then you reach the middle and then you decrease and you have a little scarf. So this also loses hairs. My skirt is looking more and more hairy. I bought the skein of yarn at a yarn festival I went to last year, and the skein was quite a nice price. It was 12 euros, and the yarn is by a company that will make another appearance later. The company is called Seehaver Naturtextilien, which means Seehaver, it's a name or a place, I assume. Nature textiles. And they produce yarns. They're not that easy to come by. I find that not a lot of places sell their yarns and you can't order from them directly. They seem to only sell to like in a wholesale setting. But yeah, I had this one skein. I bought it at this yarn festival and it's just called Mohair Seide. So Seide is silk. Mohair silk, it's 300 meters per 100 grams, 30% tussar silk and 70% kid mohair. And the gauge given on the label is 23 stitches by 30 rows for 4 by 4 inches or 10 by 10 centimeters. So it's not a lace weight, it's more like a fingering weight or even a DK. And that is just what this is. And I have worn this on a little trip that Mohair, my partner and I recently took, and it was very nice because it's lightweight and it gives a lot of warmth. It looks very fluffy and nice, and yeah, it was just nice. And you can see this is all of the leftovers I have. So as with many scarves that you may know that will also make an appearance later in this video, you can weigh the project as you go and then end up with the tiniest amount of scraps. The next thing that I finished in March is a garment, the only garment of this episode actually. I usually knit more garments, but I'm very accessories heavy in my knitting right now. But the next object is this beautiful tee. This was a test knit for the Knit Purl girl, also known as Sophie, or I should have said that the other way around, but you get it. Sophie had a few posts on Instagram about this as she designed it and made it, and I was very, very in love with the design. I love a lacy garment. I love especially a lacy yoke. So when the test call came for this one, I was so happy to be accepted. And I also already had the yarn in stash that I knit this with. So the pattern is still in testing, and it will be until sometime in May. And yeah, as I said, I have a lot of time to knit right now, so I sped through this. This has also been finished for over a week at this point. But I have to say that at first I'm at gauge, and then I loosened up. So the fit is not quite as I want it to be and as the pattern wants it to be. So I'm very tempted to make a second one, not just because of the gauge, but also because it was very fun to knit up and I really like the design. So yeah, keep an eye out for the waffle tee. The yarn that I used is again by a German brand. I don't know what's going on right now, but I'm using a lot of German yarn, it seems. The brand is called Austermann, and the yarn is called Merino Cotton Organic. This one is the color number 12. The yarn itself is 230 meters per 50 grams, so quite a lot. And we have 55% organic merino lamb's wool and 45% organic cotton. I got this on sale. I think I paid about 3 to 4 euros per skein, which is a really, really nice price for a 100% organic yarn like this. I'm also a big fan of wool and cotton mixes. I like the feel of them. I like that they are a little bit cooler to wear. My body has a lot of troubles regulating its own temperature, so I often have to take clothes off and then put them on again, and temperature is very difficult for my body. But yeah, I have worn this I have not worn this way around because I want to take some more nicer pictures, because this is a test, so I can post it on my socials. But yeah, this is what I have left over. The garment itself weighs 159 grams, so it's also very light. And I have about 40 grams left over in this ball. Now with the yarn, because I got it on sale, I actually had 2 different dye lots. So 2 balls of the one dye lot and then 2 balls of the other. And I could have avoided what happened here, but as you may be able to tell, the bottom is much darker than the top. So all of this is made in the lighter dye lots, and then I realized I was running out and I had different dye lots, so I started to alternate the yarns here. So knit 1 row in the darker color, 1 row in the lighter color, until I finally ran out of the lighter color, and then I knitted the rest in the yarn I had left. And I don't think it looks that bad, and I'm not mad about it. This kind of mistake happens. I'm saying mistake because I could have just knitted the lace section in one color and then would have probably had enough for all of the rest. But yeah, it's another reason why I want to make another one of the waffle tees. I knitted size C, so the 3rd size, and maybe I'll just switch to the 2nd size for the next one. Yeah, I'll put in pictures here if I have any good ones to show. Otherwise, you can always check out my Ravelry. I am very good at keeping track of everything I knit on my Ravelry, with all kinds of infos on needle sizes, the yarn, the gram, grams used, yeah, just everything. I'll definitely have it linked below. The next thing is again an accessory, and it's in a color that's not present in my wardrobe at all. I usually wear purples and blues and greens, black and whites, a little bit of brown, but reds and oranges are really, really rare for me. I feel like they don't suit me that well because I get red easily as well. So yeah, I'm just self-conscious about that. But I still had some beautiful orange yarn in my stash. This yarn is the Baby Alpaca by GGH or GGH. I think it's again a German brand. I have not used this brand's yarn before, and I didn't even buy this myself. I was gifted this yarn by some very dear people to me in my life. I think it was in 2023 that I was gifted 4 50-gram balls of GGH Baby Alpaca in this orange color, 100 meters per skein, and this yarn is extremely soft. I'm a big fan of alpaca. I can tolerate it. Luckily, this is so soft to me. This is softer than any kind of animal fiber to me. So I wanted to make something special out of it, and preferably something close to my neck, close to my head, and you may have guessed already, this is the Sophie hood by PetiteKnit. So it's close to my head and close to my neck. I've been eyeing this pattern for a while because everyone is making it. A long time I was very, how do I say this? When I started knitting, PetiteKnit of course was already big, but I first of all held off of buying patterns for at least a year because I knew I'm a beginner, my taste will probably change. I don't want to buy patterns that then turn out to be not my thing, too difficult for me, which is funny because then I knitted a lot of drops patterns, which everyone says they're not easy to knit, but yeah. Well, I had this yarn in stash for a few years and I never knew what to make with it. And then I decided on the Sophie hood and I really like the result. I will put it on while I continue talking. I was very inspired to use yarn that's been in my stash for a long time by Jen of the Stash Down Diaries. She is hosting the Elder Stash Make-Along. She has hosted it last year already, I believe, and is still hosting it. I probably look very silly right now, but this is what it looks like on, and I will just accept that I have no mirror in front of me. It's giving Little Red Riding Hood, and yeah, it's very soft. I keep getting distracted. The Elder Stash Make-Along. I was inspired to use this yarn because of that, and I have actually made this an entry for the Make-Along because the Make-Along is about using the oldest stash that you have, which this is. And I'm so happy it's now a usable accessory, and I finished it in time for spring, which, as it is kind of raining now, calls for things like these still here in northern Germany. Do I have anything more to say about this? I feel like I do, but it's just a Sophie hood. I knitted this in 3 days. I sped through this. This was so quick to make, and I had a good time. On to the next one. The next thing I made is a very simple thing that I made without a pattern. These are just very simple arm sleeves. They're tubes in 3x1 rib, and they reach above my elbow, and I can have a little sleeve paw moment going on. I love covering half of my hand. I feel safe when I do this. And I made this because As I said, temperature regulation is difficult for my body, especially there's a big difference in torso temperature and arm temperature. So my arms will often be cold while my chest and face and head are quite warm. So I will probably wear this with tops or t-shirts. And I had this yarn in stash. This is a sock yarn by Opal or Opal. Opal is quite a big sock yarn producer, also from Germany. What's going on? They make sock yarns. They are known for their like artists collections, I think, and the rainforest collections are quite well known. If you're unfamiliar with Opal and how they produce yarn, they have some yarns that they always produce, but they also every few weeks release collections. And within those collections, there's something between 5 to 10 colorways, and that collection is usually just a one-time thing and not necessarily repeated. So this collection is called Tea Time, and it's also of the beauty line. The beauty yarns have vitamin E, it says on the label. They have vitamin E and Edelweiss extract. Edelweiss is a kind of flower. So some flower extract. I'll put the translation of the flower name on the screen. That's incorporated in this yarn. This is what the label looks like of the Tea Time collection. And yeah, it's your usual 75-25 sock yarn with 420 meters per 50 grams, 425 meters. Yeah, this is what I have left over, about 30 grams. So these took about 70 grams. Yeah, and they're just very practical. I very much like the colors. As I said, I love purples and blues. And yeah, they're quite soft for a sock yarn. I'm looking forward to wearing them. I knitted these on 2.25 millimeter DPNs, cast on 64 stitches with the German twisted cast on, and then I bound off with a modified version of the very stretchy bind off technique by Very Pink Knits here on YouTube. I only did the very stretchy bind off technique on the knit stitches, and then for the purl stitches I didn't do it. But if you're interested in any of those infos in more detail, again, check out my Ravelry. I have it all in there. The next project, I will not dwell on this for too long. It is a Sophie scarf, the large version, knitted in 100% silk. So I will not talk about the pattern that much. You have seen it. It's a garter stitch scarf. I made it in a nice silk yarn by Ito, a Japanese yarn producer, and this yarn is called Kinu. It's, as I said, 100% silk, 50 grams per cone to 425 meters. And this is the color number 390, Blueberry. And it has these nice white flecks in the yarn. The yarn itself is very fine. And I held the yarn double to knit on 3 millimeter needles. This is a half gift, kind of. I have made another one of these scarves in the same yarn in a pink color before, and my partner and I share that scarf. He wears it more than I do, and he wished for another one in this color, so he has waited a little while for this to happen, but we plan on sharing this again. And then the last finished object I have for you today is another test knit and a pair of socks. I will get close and show you this beautiful pattern, and you can already tell maybe the ribbing is in DK weights, and then this cabley motif on the cuff is knitted in one strand of fingering weight. And then the rest of the sock is a DK sock again. So this test is also still running. These are the Wusai socks by Teti or Teti's Knit Garden. She's a wonderful designer. I can only recommend checking out her patterns. I think she has such a unique and beautiful style. Just a special signature in her designs. I have tested for Teti before, a few months ago. I have tested the Tapetum sweater, which is one of the most special sweaters I have made. It's made in unspun yarn, in my case. Not an FO of this episode, but you can also have a look at it on my Ravelry. And I really enjoyed that pattern. So when this test call came in my email inbox, I was very quick to apply, and again, so happy to be accepted. I also already had the perfect yarn in stash for this nice pattern. It's by the same company we've talked about before, Seehava Naturtextilien. Oh, I think it's actually Seehava Naturfasern, which means nature fiber. Sorry. But this is a different yarn. This one is called Turin, and it's a sock yarn with 60% wool, 20% silk, and 20% rami. I have never worked with a yarn before that has rami, but I was intrigued to try this because I like yarns that have no plastics in them. And I got this one on sale. I paid €9.10 for this on sale, a 100-gram skein. And this is all I have left over, just a little ball. This yarn is a 425 meters per 100 grams yarn, again, so a fingering weight. In this color, I think it's color T20, dark gray, though it is kind of a bluish, greenish gray. And yeah, the size I knitted is to a EU men's size 45. And they were so quick to knit up. DK weight socks, they go by so fast. And I really like the process of making these because the cast on is really nice. DK weight ribbing. Then you snip one of the strands and knit the cuff, which is the slowest part of the entire sock, and then you just speed through the rest. This was very nice. And yeah, it's another gift knit for my partner. I hope he will like them. He has not yet officially received them. He has seen them, and I have measured the socks against his feet. But yeah, I will experience how this yarn wears through him. Okay, that's it with the finished objects. Now we would move into whips, although today I only have one whip. I'm usually not a monogamous knitter. Usually I have this rule, very loose rule, that I can have up to 3 whips going at the time. Preferably a small, medium, and large whip, although blankets do not count. Blankets are not whips, as Jana of Finnish Knitting Story also says. I very much agree. Blankets are not whips. I only have one blanket going, and it's a scrappy project that's divided by color, so I really cannot work on it unless I have the scraps. So I do only have one whip on my needles right now. And I casted this on 3 days ago. So it's day 4, and it's again an accessory, but a very nice looking one. I already love how this looks in this little felted basket that I also made a month or two ago. So this is the swatch, and you can see it's a very beautiful stitch pattern. It's a stitch pattern with slipped stitches and 2 colors, black and white. And it's turning into the Day and Night Cowl pattern by Andrea Maury or Renee Knits. It's another neck accessory that I'm squeezing out of the cold season, so I'm hoping to get a few days of wear of this before it really gets too warm. But let me get the whip out of this little basket, and you can see this is where I am. I started down here, and then you increase at different rates to shape the cowl, and at some point you're done decreasing on this side. I don't think you can see this very well because it wants to curl in, but you stop increasing, you start decreasing, and then you get the shaping, doing slipped stitches evenly with this checkered background. And in black and white, I just kind of copied the colors of the sample and the pictures. I like wearing monochrome outfits and clothing, so this is very comfortable for me. It's a little bit edgy. It's reminding me of the Vans and these same colors, the Vans shoes. I don't know if I can put a picture here, if I'm allowed to do that. But yeah, I really like this slightly edgy design. So it will be kind of like a bandana cowl, but in a more squishy version. This also has an I-cord edge and is knitted back and forth. So every second row is a purl row. This is what the back looks like. And this is super soft and nice and squishy because the yarn is Drops Daisy. I do knit quite a lot with Drops yarn. Maybe topic for another day, I don't know. Is that something you're interested in? Anyway, Drops Daisy. I just a few weeks ago used Drops Daisy for the first time in my Anne's puffed sleeves sweater. That was an entry for another make-along. So yeah, I like make-alongs, I like tests. And it's quite a nice yarn. This is color 3 and the white is color 1. And they're a DK weight 100% non-superwash merino yarn with 110 meters. And yeah, it's very nice. It does have the reputation of pilling quite quickly, which I have yet to see, but I believe other knitters when they say that this yarn pills quite quickly. I have a lot of neck accessories, so I don't know if this piece will be something that I wear so much that it will be absolutely worn and pilled to death. But yeah, we will see. It is an affordable yarn, so I was okay going into this project with the knowledge that this may not be a very sturdy yarn. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, I'm enjoying knitting it, and it will be finished soon. There's 2 non-knitting things that I would like to show you. One of them is a spinning project that I finished yesterday, and it's just a teeny tiny amount of yarn. It's 20 grams of Jacob's Schaf, spun up in 2 different weights. So this tiny one is very, very fine. I don't think I can show you a single strand of it, but it's fine enough to be used as sewing yarn for hand sewing. In my household, from time to time we make historical clothing and we do some hand sewing as well. So this would be very nice for that. And this one is a little bit heavier or thicker. This is one strand of it. Excuse my absolutely horrible looking nail polish and hurt finger. I will use my left hand to show you. This was not super nice to spin up. So this is just a 20-gram sample of the fiber that came in a little set of different types of fiber or sheep breed. And I wasn't impressed by this, so I'm glad to have made this and to have experienced it, but I wouldn't go out and buy a sweater's quantity of this fiber. But it's a nice, very dark brown, and I think the finished yarn looks quite nice. I don't know what I will make with this. And then, as I have mentioned, I think, I am really bad at sewing, and I really do not have great patience when it comes to sewing. In fact, I have no patience at all. If I make one little mistake, I'm already so angry and frustrated, so I don't sew. But I really want to sew. Something about it is very attractive to me. So from time to time, I'll give it a try. And yesterday I was actually successful and I made 2 little triangle pouches with a zipper, and they're even lined, although you can see my stitching is horrible. I'm really not good at sewing, believe me when I tell you. But I can embrace the dodginess of the bags, thanks to Ali of Little Drops of Wonderful, or This Little Wonderful Life here on YouTube. I adore her channels so much, and yeah, she has just really encouraged me to embrace dodginess in sewing. It's just a little bag for, I don't know, stitch markers, stitch holders. I'm not sure what I want to put in this. And that this thing here, this strap running along this side, this was a mistake. This was supposed to be just like this one, a little tiny handle, but when I was sewing on this side, I messed up. It was there accidentally, but I just left it and it worked out. And yeah, this one is just the same fabrics. Yeah. Then maybe a little bit of plans. My queue, my knitting queue is very long. I have lots of plans. I have lots of things I want to make, and I have a lot of yarn to make those things. The thing I'm probably most excited for up next is the Pressed Flowers Kerchief by Aimee Christophers or Savory Knitting. The pattern is a free pattern published via Hobby, and it's using a hobby yarn that I don't have, but I have 2 balls of Lana Grossa, what's it called? Lana Grossa Natural Alpaca Pelo, which is a chain-knit yarn with cotton, wool and alpaca. So it works with this recommended yarn for the pattern. And it's also yarn that I was gifted years ago. So this would also be a suitable entry for the Elder Stash make-along by the Stash Down Diaries. We'll see. But yeah, it's another neck accessory, and I feel like I've made so many of those already, but it would be really good timing because I can wear it over my neck and shoulders and then wear it with this cute little closure here, and the flowers are so springy and everything is starting to bloom. So yeah, although I have made a lot of neck accessories, I think that will be the next thing I make. I've also never knitted something by Aimee Christophers, and for years now I've heard so much about the Pressed Flowers patterns that I think this would be a nice way to try out the stitch pattern and see if I like it, and maybe I can make something else of the Pressed Flowers patterns later on. I have last year freestyled a slip over with slipped stitches. Maybe I have a picture to show you again. But yeah, I really like working slipped stitches, as we have them present in this episode as well. I think that's it for now. I'm planning to come back here in a week and talk about my progress. Until then, it should be easy to keep track of, as I only have this one whip going. So this is where we are at. We'll see where we are next week. There will not be as many finished objects next week because, yeah, I've shown you all of my March things. I wanted to say something at the end of this episode. If you've made it this far, first of all, thank you so much. Of course, like everyone making YouTube videos, I would really appreciate it if you could hit the like button, maybe leave a comment, maybe subscribe. And if you're looking at my subscriber count, you may see that if you're watching this video around the time where I'm putting it out, at the end of March 2026, this channel, Evil Knits, already has 1,000 subscribers. And those people are not here for knitting or crafting content. Those people have clicked the subscribe button because of one particular short that's on my channel that's not crafting related, and I will not upload more of that kind of content. Oh, it sounds so ominous the way I'm not describing it. But yeah, it's a short about a celebrity, and whenever people see that short, they may think there's coming more of that on this channel, so they click subscribe, but it's not happening. So yeah, but I want to use this channel because I also have used this channel for a long time now to participate in the online knitting community. So writing comments, leaving likes, etc. I've used this channel, so I didn't want to make a new one. Just so you know, I just wanted to mention it. I don't know. Okay, the sun has left us. I think that leaves me just to say thank you so much. Like really, thank you so much. And maybe we'll see each other again. And until next time, bye.